In V-Ray Next, we've added some brand new production features for GPU rendering, including the option to use the bucket sampling method on GPU. Bucket rendering gives us certain advantages, in particular, the ability to use the Cryptomatte Render element. This allows us to easily have more fine-tuned control in compositing, as you'll see in a bit. To demonstrate, let's open the V-Ray settings and make sure we set the production engine to CUDA so we're rendering on GPU. Next, let's switch the sampler type from progressive to bucket mode. The default settings here for the bucket mode are going to work fine in our case, so let's leave them as they are. From the V-Ray Render Devices selection drop-down, we can choose which GPU devices to include in the rendering process. I have also included the CPU here to take advantage of hybrid rendering. If you have more than one GPU, you may also want to consider leaving one of your GPU devices free for working on the monitor and UI display. For this scene, however, I'm going to use both of my GPUs for rendering. Okay, now let's switch to the Render Elements tab and add the Cryptomatte Render element to the list. We'll leave it at the default values here so that it creates ID mats based on node names. Next, let's head to the Common tab here, and I want to export a multi-channel EXR file so that the Cryptomatte element can be used later in compositing. For multi-channel EXR specifically, it's critical that we tell V-Ray to save it in this file format before we start our render. We also need to make sure that Don't Save Image is unchecked. That way the image will save automatically to the file path specified. Again, for multi-channel EXRs, it's important to do these steps before rendering. Now, let's go ahead and start our render. Okay, after the render is complete, let's double-check the Cryptomatte has created its render elements here in the drop-down list. As you can see, each Cryptomatte element has a set of colored mats applied to it. These are based on the node names in our scene here, which we can then use as masks for fine-tuned control in compositing. To demonstrate, let's now switch over to Nuke, a compositing software, where I'll show you how we can mask certain objects in the scene using Cryptomatte and make a few color corrections. Let's drag and drop the multi-channel EXR file that we just created into Nuke. I'll connect it to a viewer so we can see the image and position it here on the ship. Now, let's create a Cryptomatte node by clicking on the Cryptomatte icon, and then connect the Cryptomatte node to our EXR, and then to the viewer. You'll see the image in the viewer now displays the different mats in our scene. Next, within the Cryptomatte node, let's choose the Pick or Add option, and select the mat of the toy ship to create a mask from it. Alright, now that we've isolated the ship, we can add a color correct node and simply attach the Cryptomatte mask to it to color correct only the mask. Now when I make color corrections, such as to the saturation, it will affect only the ship in the final image. This gives us a very quick and easy method to isolate and color correct different elements in our scene. I'll go ahead and tweak a few more of the settings here until we get a desirable result. Following the same logic, we can add another Cryptomatte node and this time use the color picker to mask off the water in our scene. Again, let's use a color correct node to make some aesthetic changes to the water and see how that improves our image. For comparison, you can see here the original rendered image and a final color corrected version I made using Cryptomatte and Nuke. Okay. Now you've seen how you can use V-Ray Next's powerful production features such as bucket rendering and Cryptomatte support. Together, these can simplify your workflow and give you even more flexibility and fine-tuned control when compositing.